Oh fuck! I didn't see Morgan. Oh fuck! I didn't see that.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Hit Confirm. I'm Austin.
I'm Max.
And today we're doing the format of the show a bit differently, where we are recording before doing our footage so that we can get through conversation without being distracted by the game. And today we have a lot to talk about, actually, with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and a bunch of a press release coming out the other day, and a gameplay trailer had just come out.
Sort of came out.
First, we're going to run through what the cinematic trailer that came out entails, and then get into talking about the gameplay. So from the trailer we have, we're shown a cinematic as a story where Ultron and Sigma are working together.
Which, by the way, Ultron makes sense, because it's a very big character. I'm happy they went with Ultron rather than Thanos, because obviously this game's going to have a major MCU like focus on the Marvel side, and I think Ultron is the way more interesting character. What I am genuinely surprised by is when they said X was going to be like a major character, I'm like, all right, fine. I didn't think Sigma would be
I didn't think
the Capcom side villain.
I didn't think they would dig Sigma out of the grave. That's impressive.
And the pairing is awesome too.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense. It's great.
I think it's like it's the kind of like thing that gets me like excited, like seeing Marvel movies now. Like, this kind of pairing is like it feels like a MCU kind of thing.
The only problem is something that we will talk about a little later on. About the Ultron and Sigma being the main villains, but I'll get to that later. But there's a pretty big issue.
Story-wise, though,
it's great though.
Digging it. And we got 8 new characters revealed. We have Strider, Hulk, Chris Redfield, Thor, Chun-Li, Hawkeye, Rocket Raccoon, and Ultron.
No one on here is a surprise
Absolutely
for me, except for Chris Redfield. I'm genuinely surprised Redfield is coming back.
I feel like there should be a Resident Evil representation.
Oh, for sure. But I thought they might have tried going with, like, Leon, or, like...
You know what, you're right.
It would have been cool to see, like, Ada Wong, or...
Yeah.
Like, I guess Chris Redfield he is kind of the Resident Evil poster boy.
Yeah.
But...
Especially if you don't, like... If you're younger and don't know the older games.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Again, none of this is a surprise at all. I'm happy they stuck with Rocket Raccoon. I think he will be the Guardians rep. I don't think they're gonna add, like, him and Star-Lord.
Right.
Or him and somebody else.
Depending on, like, how big the roster is, which wasn't there an official statement about the size of the roster?
The size of the roster will not be as big.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Marvel vs. Capcom games.
So yeah, I wouldn't expect another rep from Guardians.
And they've all hit 50 recently. Marvel 2, Marvel 3, or Ultimate Marvel 3.
Right.
Both got around that 48, 50 mark. So I'm thinking maybe like 36 characters to start with at most.
I'm liking how the cinematic, like the story mode, I guess, is gonna play out because of the, like, at the end when they showed Rocket Raccoon his adorable interaction with X.
Just fucking with X.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that they're going for, like, a more cinematic kind of story mode. I like that it looks way better than Street Fighter V's A Shadow Falls. Already just in terms of direction and, like, expressions and stuff like that.
I think the characters themselves look fine, though. Like, the stages are very early.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, too.
Stylistically, people were saying that it looks a little, like all the characters are figures. Or like,
Never thought of it that way.
They look like not plastic, but they look like statues more than kind of that cel-shaded, stylized thing Marvel 3 was going for.
It takes it reminds me of Smash in this case, because they're taking the direction of everyone's, like, from both sides are interacting. It's not like not like the comic book aesthetic, but it's literally about the two worlds actually clashing.
Yeah.
And having a narrative to it.
Well, it's like where Marvel 3 and I guess technically all the other Marvel vs. Capcom games drew inspiration from the comics. The Marvel side is very heavily going to be the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Probably the Netflix universe. I don't think we're gonna see any X-Men. It's unless Marvel somehow buys those properties back.
Right.
I'm very worried about that. But
and as like as you know, I'm not like into the comics themselves. Like the movies is what blew me up to the Marvel universe and looking into it. But I mean, if it goes off like what's big in the MCU, I'm fine with that for myself.
I'm fine with pretty much all of it. I'm coming hot off of watching the train wreck that is Iron Fist. And I really hope Iron Fist makes it into this game, but I hope he has like the same costume, personality, and stuff as like how he was in Marvel 3. I want the high collar Iron Fist because like new Daredevil's great. There's really nothing in the new MCU that's like disappointing. So like while it is going to be like, it means the Marvel side is heavily predictable about what characters are going to make it in, all of those characters are good picks anyway, so there's nobody I really left wanting except for X-Men.
Yeah. What is that? It's because of the Fox licensing.
What, Fantastic Four?
Well, them two. What about Deadpool and Spider-Man? They're in the same boat, aren't they?
Spider-Man's technically in the MCU now, so I think Spider-Man's kind of a weird one. Deadpool kind of gets lumped in with X-Men, so probably won't see him. I'm hoping for Moon Knight. That's my That's the only Marvel character I want, and it doesn't make any sense. He's probably not going to be in it, but I think Moon Knight is the coolest Marvel character.
If we can get some more Mega Man X favoritism, just have him take over the roster. I would like. Yeah. I would expect Zero, but like if they mixed it up and threw in like Vile, that'd be cool.
Vile would be really cool, actually.
Yeah. Though given the size of the roster, I wouldn't expect it, but if they took the favoritism over the X series, that'd be cool. Or Tron, or they brought Roll back.
I was gonna say Proto Man would be cool, but
there's a lot to work with there.
Proto Man, EXE Proto Man though. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, story trailer looks good. It's probably going to be a super superficial story that has no depth to it at all, but it'll be fun to see. Like, that's all it needs to be. It just needs to be fun.
Like most Marvel movies. The next thing is the problem I mentioned earlier. Ultron was revealed as a character in Marvel vs. MVCI, or MVC4, whatever we're going to end up calling it. Sigma is a DLC character. The game comes out on September 19th, first of all. Yeah, we got a release date, which I found surprising.
Yeah.
But I also found it surprising how close that is.
Yeah. It doesn't look anywhere near as, like, unfinished or unpolished as the reveal for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looked. But, you know, some stuff could still get ironed out, for sure. That UI is one thing.
Oh, yeah, the UI, yeah.
We'll talk about that closer to gameplay. But, anyway, the 6 DLC characters, 6 costumes. They're going for the Street Fighter V Season Pass thing, which I hope we know the other characters in that Season Pass before buying it.
I give the Street Fighter Season Pass shit because it's called a Season Pass and it doesn't come with anything, like, real besides characters.
They have changed it to Character Pass.
Yeah.
They've changed the name of it.
So I'm more happy with that, at least.
But Sigma is behind that paywall, which is kind of lame that Ultron and Sigma are the main villains, and the cooler main villain is behind a paywall. That being said, Ultron does look really cool in this game. But again, that's gameplay stuff. So 6 characters, 6 costumes. You got Evil Ryu. You've got kind of this warrior Thor going on.
You got Gladiator Hulk. Command Mission X.
Command Mission X is sick. That is such a good costume.
Yeah, that's oh my god.
With the laser scarf and everything.
I don't know how you feel about Command Mission itself as a game.
I've never played it, but I like the design.
I don't remember much of it because I was like really young, but I was always digging it. And I never finished it though.
It's a turn-based RPG, isn't it?
Yeah. So in the screenshots we got a look at 2 new stages, the Avengers Tower and a throne room. What I could say from the pictures is, this is why you can tell it's like really early, is because there's no like background characters. It's very empty in these scenes.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that it's 2 Marvel stages. Not seeing any Capcom rep from the stage side of things.
That's true.
Because I imagine the throne room is like Loki's, or well, the Asgardian.
I thought it was
room.
the
the Ultron throne room.
Yeah.
And of course, Avengers Tower is Avengers Tower.
Yeah. But I mean, they're just look early right now, so.
Yeah, they're, you know, again, Street Fighter V didn't look like Street Fighter V until maybe like a month out, so I'm not even.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried. And already this game, like, the models look a little weird. Somebody pointed this out, and I totally agree. That everything, all the textures and everything, they all look really good. The skin textures are where it starts to look a little plasticky. But like cloth, metal, all that stuff.
I don't know.
Great.
What's which character specifically?
Like Chun-Li, Hulk is a big one. Parts of Thor around his neck and everything.
See, I thought when I was watching that gameplay, like character-wise, like Thor and Hawkeye looked like they weren't finished with their shading and lighting and whatever. But then Hulk jumped in, and I really liked how Hulk looked in comparison.
Yeah, and it very well may be just the style they're going with now. It doesn't look bad. It looks way better now that we've seen everything in motion.
And it's gonna change. It's gonna look better too.
So, you pre-order the standard edition, you get Warrior Thor and Evo Ryu included. The deluxe edition is $90. It's the main game, it's the character pass, and then you get Gladiator, Hulk, and Command Missions X. Does that mean that those costumes aren't the season pass costumes you're going to be getting?
There is no season pass. It's character pass.
Oh, I thought the character pass had 6 costumes in it, though.
Did it?
That's what you wrote. You put this on this list.
No, I didn't write that here. No, that was literally like just how they presented it on the screen. They said 6 DLC characters, 6 costumes, and then Sigma was in the bottom right.
Oh, see, I thought that's what the character pass had.
No, that wasn't the pass.
6 characters, 6 costumes.
It was just separate.
Weird.
No, yeah, at launch, how you're gonna get those costumes is through the deluxe edition.
Gotcha.
I mean, hopefully available later. We have 4 statues of Mega Man X, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Chun-Li. Apparently they have something like where they connect. And then there's the six Infinity Stones, and they light up. And it also comes with the, what is it? The character pass, steelbook. And they said 6 costumes, but we have 4 costumes that we know about.
So we'll see the other ones.
Yeah, 2 more. I mean, they don't even need, like, I don't even think whatever those costumes would be. I hope they're not attached to the collector's edition.
I don't imagine they would be.
To a $200 paywall. Which I didn't write, is that the collector's edition is $200.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's $200, but the 6 costumes are deluxe edition. But yeah, no, it's a very cool deluxe edition. I, of course, would like to swap out some of those characters that the statues are of, but, you know, X is cool.
Yeah, depending on who else is announced. But I guess
I would have liked Strider. But, yeah, no, Steelbook's cool. It's got Ultron Sigma, which normally if you just put the 2 names next to each other, it's kind of lame. But it actually works for Ultron Sigma. But, yeah, that's pretty much all of the kind of story and then the actual release information.
Now we can hop into the gameplay, which I imagine we're 16 minutes in, but this might be the bulk of the video is talking about the gameplay here.
General thoughts. it looks like Marvel.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I was really worried that it wouldn't. That it would look way more dumbed down. That doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean,
We're still getting long
I think
combos.
they want to take like a. We'll just bring it right up. You see on the screen when on the left and right side for the notifications, it says auto combo, or it can say easy hyper combo. I feel like I don't know what's up with that.
It could be one of two things. One, it's like how it is in Marvel 3, Marvel 1 to a degree, where you have your technical or normal mode where it plays like Marvel, or you have a simple mode where, like, you'll have an auto combo on A, on B you'll have, or I guess on light, medium, you'll have kind of more your special moves. Supers will just kind of be either forward and heavy, you know, back and heavy, stuff like that. The other thing it could be is the way that games like King of Fighters 14, Persona 4 Arena has auto combos tied to mashing light. You'll get a basic combo just from mashing it out, and then if you have the meter, it'll automatically combo into a super.
Yeah,
that could be what the easy hyper combo is.
Well, the thing, it goes off in the air sometimes. I forget which character in this video, but they do it in the air. I think out of actually, like, as they're tagged in, they do it, and it says easy hyper combo.
It could be that as well. Well, the thing is, like, if the auto combo knocks them into the air and continues the combo in the air anyway, which for Marvel, that's probably how an auto combo would look, then it makes sense for that to just combo into the super. It'd be a very easy hyper combo. I'm really hoping it's one of those two, because that's kind of the way you would simplify the game without dumbing it down for everybody.
My concern is just, like, why would they show, like, the gameplay with it and not just doing the combos?
Well, it's weird because this gameplay, I mean, obviously the game isn't out. It's very early, so nobody's super good at it. But one thing I noticed about the gameplay footage is that people are frequently just dropping combos. So I don't know if this is just footage of people, like, of press trying out the game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Footage put together by Capcom.
Yeah, it seemed like it was, like, that would also explain why it's, like, or why they would have that on, too.
But I see people attempting, like, the same combo over and over again. They'll try to finish it by picking it up OTG with, like, a sweep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work every single time. But they keep going for it, so I don't know if that's just people playing around trying to figure out how the system works, or if that's reflective of the way combos work in the game. You know, it's kind of hard to really tell without having actual pro players.
And it's pretty important to, like, say that this footage isn't, like, officially released. This was leaked.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, the footage is, like, really low quality no matter where you look for it.
And it just ends on Chris Redfield's super, and his voice gets super deep for no reason. Other than that, yeah, no, it looks very standard Marvel. Some things to notice are, obviously it's 2v2 now, goes back to Marvel 1. You can tag out mid-combo to kind of continue with another character, but it also looks like you can call in your second character as just an assist still.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Which is interesting. The Infinity Stones are on display. You have time, power, and space kind of shown off through this one. And it's really interesting.
Yeah, I like I like the Power Stones, at least shown here.
Yeah.
Like, they like reading what they did felt like it wouldn't fit, but, I mean, it's a Marvel game. And I'm seeing it work here in this footage.
It's interesting because, the way the Power Stone, the Infinity Stones seem to work is that you always have access to kind of a standard Infinity Stone ability that doesn't require any of the meter. So for, like, time, you get 1 dash. For space, you'll pull the opponent towards you. And then for power, you get, like, 1 wall bounce attack. And then once that meter fills up past the halfway point, that's where it starts draining. And you can kind of use the full, like, suite of the Infinity Stones. And Time Stone, you basically get infinite of those dashes. in the air, on the ground, whatever. Power Stone, you know, you have increased damage and more wall bounce potential. The Space Stone is fucking nuts, because what the Space Stone does is it creates a box around your character that the opponent cannot leave. So you are doing wall combos mid-screen, and then you pop them into the air, and then they stay in that box around you until the timer runs out.
That's the dopest shit.
Crazy. I think that the lack of a third character, now that I've seen the stones in action, not even a big deal at all.
No, like, yeah, it's looking fine with only 2 characters.
And it's really interesting that like, I thought maybe if you had an ability outside of like the full Infinity Stone, like, you know, super splash screen and all that, it would at least cost some of the meter. It's really interesting that it doesn't cost anything. Like, you could just use it. There's probably a cooldown, but like, other than that, no. The Infinity Stones look really cool. Other than that, we get to see all the characters that were announced. I'm pretty sure, except for Rocket Raccoon and nope, just Rocket Raccoon we don't get to see.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
Maybe he's in the part of the video that cut out.
Maybe, yeah. No, that would make perfect sense, actually. So I don't know if you want to talk about characters individually, if you want to get into that, like, much detail.
I mean, I don't know I've only played, like, a lot of, or more of 2 and 3. So I can't really, and not like most of these characters either, so I can't really talk about what they've been like before.
Well, it's interesting, because a lot of the characters obviously maintain a lot of their moves. Like, Hulk is Hulk. Chris Redfield basically has the same move list. But what a lot of people are saying is that they've spotted some normals that haven't appeared in any, like, Marvel game up until this point. So right now, what people are wondering is, like, is this going to be a 4-button fighter still, or is this going to go back to the Marvel vs. Capcom 1 6-button fighting style?
Oh man, do we really not know yet?
No, we don't know about that.
Oh jeez.
But other than that, some people have new tricks.
I mean, to me, it looks like a 4-button.
And it very well may be.
But if there are like that many normals, I don't know.
I mean, if it could be command normals, it could just be some changes. You know, normals can be removed, adjusted.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Characters like Strider. Strider was given a new air super, which looks sick. Chun-Li was given a her Shadow Lady super from Marvel 1 and X-Men Cross Street Fighter, I believe.
Speaking of Chun-Li, I noticed that if
her model looks bad,
it's the Street Fighter V model. And
not her face.
I think it is because, like, entirely because if you look at her art when she's like on the HUD, on the top.
Yeah.
It's I've seen the Chun-Li model like in Street Fighter V, because like Street Fighter V's like shading is like so heavy, like the models are like really distorted looking. I've seen the raw model like through Source Filmmaker. And that's what it reminds me of.
It's interesting. For me, the eyes are really the big thing. There's something about her eyes that makes her really tired or sick. I don't know what it is.
I like that every character, like when they're not on the screen, it's Ryu's icon.
Oh yeah, I did notice that. Just in general, characters are looking, you know, they're looking fun. They're looking like Marvel characters. It's cool that, you know, Chun-Li, lightning kick in the air, now has a spike that I think either causes a ground bounce or you can OTG off of it, which is cool.
There's a lot of stuff here that you can do OTG off of.
Yeah, every character seems to have some kind of OTG potential with just standard normals, which is really cool. Simplifies the combos up a bit so you don't have to rely on, like, Wesker gun ground pickup and stuff like that as an assist. But yeah, all the returning characters look pretty standard. Hawkeye looks like he's been changed up a little bit. He's got totally different arrow types now, which is cool because I think Hawkeye was kind of a weak character in terms of strength and kind of variety in Marvel 3. So it's nice that they brought him back and they made him a little bit more interesting. Thor looks like he stayed kind of the same, but even he still looks like a little bit more fun with the changes to the system.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Chris Redfield kind of looks like Chris Redfield. I think the standout here really is Ultron. Ultron looks like so much fucking fun to play. He's got dive kicks. He's got command grabs in the air that you can combo into. He's got kind of like assists where he calls in other Ultron robots, and they either have like this overhead strike or this laser. He's got a dive kick, which is dive kicks are sick. And he's got all of his kind of air dash crazy mix-ups that like is weird. I'm trying to find a character to like compare him to. He's got kind of like the Magneto Doom kind of like air dashing to reset your combo string in the air kind of thing. And there's one crazy cross-up where Strider comes in and he does his walkling and he switches sides, and then Ultron comes in from the other side and then dashes over. So like people complaining about like mix-ups being simplified, I don't think that's going to be a problem in this game.
No, yeah, definitely not
at all.
That's the thing, is like it feels like it, you know, because of the simplified setting, it feels like the skill like floor is like significantly low in comparison to other fighting games, but the potential is like what you would expect from Marvel.
It doesn't feel dumbed down.
Oh god.
Well, I don't want to say it doesn't feel. It doesn't look dumbed down just from watching it.
Yeah.
Like infinite combos have clearly been, you know, adjusted, but people will still probably find something.
And they could patch it out this time.
It's another case of like, it looks like it'll be easier for people to do things, which, full disclosure, is something I praised in Street Fighter V, but now looking back onto it, when you start to make it easier for people to do things, that tends to be all people will default to, which means that like...
Well, that's because it was like, Street Fighter V is like, the whole theme was fundamentals.
Yeah.
And making that, like, this is more just like opening the potential for like anyone that puts puts in the
do
skill
whatever
for
they
it.
want.
Yeah.
To. Because like the problem you have with where you gotta have to be careful about how you simplify stuff like input leniency, or, you know, removing kind of the more technical, you know, wave dashing, triangle jumps, managing flight in the air, stuff like that, is that you want it to be simple for everybody to do everything, but you don't want it to be so simple that everybody, like, you don't want every person playing Hawkeye to play Hawkeye exactly the same way, because that's it's the easiest, most optimal way to play him. Like, you want to have enough variety, and you want there to be a skill gap, but not something so crazy that, you know, people boot up the game and get fucking rocked online. Like, if you boot up Marvel 3 right now, you want it to be accessible, but you don't want it to be fucking brain dead.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It'd be very easy to pilot and autopilot in Street Fighter V as opposed to Street Fighter 4, which required a little bit more attention. And it also keeps it interesting as a spectator game, because Marvel, in the same way that Street Fighter V is almost too simple to be an interesting spectator game, because every Ryu you see is going to play like Ryu, every Chun-Li you see is going to play Chun-Li, the same way. Marvel 3 has the problem of everything is so super technical that only this group of people plays it well, and you're going to see the same match over and over again. Where every person playing that team is going to play it their own way, but they're going to get into that infinite combo that you've seen at every single tournament forever. So Infinite's goal, I would assume, is to strike that happy middle ground where there's enough complexity that you can experiment and try new things and find new things that work. But it's also not going to be like, if you can't do Zero's lightning loops, then you can't succeed in Marvel Infinite.
That's what turned me off watching Marvel 3, and what made it like boring to watch every time, because it was like the same people in the same matches every time. So I wasn't seeing it, and and also a huge part of it was like, you know, no changes were ever gonna come to the game, and it was just stuck like this. So the game felt like static in that sense.
Marvel 3, I think it's still an exciting spectator game to watch, purely from the neutral game. I think the neutral game in Marvel is still really exciting in Marvel 3.
Yeah.
It's just as soon as somebody wins the neutral game, then it's like, okay, that character is dead, and there's a chance that the next character will die immediately upon coming in. Which is to say, something else people have been kind of complaining about is, like, after a character gets downed in Marvel Infinite, it looks like it's a lot of time before the next character comes in, which just from, like, a pacing thing is kind of annoying. But
it looks like there's, like, a... I don't know, it may have just been from how these people were playing, but it looks like there's animations for it, and I imagine there would be, like, some way to, like, cancel or, like, you know, I don't think it's going to be as slow as it looks here.
Yeah.
Just because of the people we're seeing playing it right now.
Oh, no, I'm talking, like, when you KO a character, like, the time before another character comes in is, like, kind of long. And I kind of see it. It can, like, interrupt pacing a little bit, but...
Did you notice that, like, when a character's knocked out, it's in the background on the floor?
That's cool. I always like that.
Yeah.
It's like King of Fighters 98, I believe.
Oh, man, don't look like a fool.
It might be... no, it's not 98. I think it's earlier, but, like, you see your team getting hyped up in the background as you play, and then when they get knocked out, they get super
that's
pissed,
right, yeah.
And they, like, just hang out in the background. But I like stuff like that. It's cool. What I don't like is this mobile game UI.
It's totally what it's like.
It looks like Contest of Champions, but, like, a little spruced up. I really hope it's a placeholder.
I thought of, like, the other, like, bullshit Marvel fighting games that are on mobile, just from seeing it. Because of that.
No, Contest of Champions is definitely the big one, which, who knows, maybe some models are taken from Contest of Champions. We don't fucking know.
Yeah, along with the supers again.
Along with the... Spider-Man and Chun-Li are gonna have the same super. But again, it very well may be a placeholder. My biggest problem right now is just way too simple. It's the same problem Street Fighter V's UI has, and that's kind of my biggest concern with Marvel Infinite, is how close are those teams related.
I like how, like, during like an entirety of Street Fighter V, we're like, the HUD's gonna change, right?
Yeah.
That HUD's not finished, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's a cool placeholder HUD. It'd be very simple to kind of improve this one. It's just kind of, it's too clean. And I don't like that direction UI is going in, because, like, it's really just kind of strictly a Capcom issue. Like, Tekken has a very clean UI, but it still looks stylized and cool.
Yeah.
And, of course, Arc System Works is leading the front on cool UI.
Absolutely. I've noticed from, like, just looking at, like, the numbers, the font looks similar to Street Fighter V's, but also, the seconds last really long in this game.
That might be the footage. There's, like, weird slowdown in certain places. Like, it's kind of weird.
I don't know. You can also see, like, the numbers just disappear for a frame or two between each other.
That's also kind of weird.
I wouldn't. I don't know if that's, like, it's kind of distracting.
There are some things I do like about the UI. I think the layout of everything is fine. The radial meter for Power Stones and everything is good.
Yeah, they look great.
I like the danger notification on health bars. It's like you can see it out of the corner of your eye, and you're like, oh shit, I'm below, like, you know, I'm at 30% health or something. It's just, it's boring. It's clean and it's easy to read, which is good, especially in a game as hectic as Marvel can get. But it's also not very imaginative.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
At least it doesn't have colored portraits, huh? Isn't that great? I hope the portraits change colors with your color palette. That'd be cool.
it's not finished yet. That's going to be the only UI changes. There's just going to be a gradient color over the characters.
Oh, fuck. I think it looks fine. Again, I needed to see it in motion.
Yeah.
Like, even when the screenshots came out with that press release, I was kind of like, it's whatever. But the thing about Marvel is it's all moving so fast that any imperfections, you're not going to fucking see them anyway. The biggest concern for me is, again, like I said, is how much of Street Fighter V's push for kind of that esports relevance, for that accessibility, how much of that is really going to bleed over into this game? Like, did they learn their lesson, or?
And I feel like they're gonna like, I feel like they would do the same thing, but they have a more targeted audience of specifically like Marvel fans, like that casual Marvel fan base. Not like, at least to like, you know, pushing to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think it's,
spectator-wise, I'm sure it'll do great, but
I'm not sure it's a bad idea what they tried to do with 5, but it was really bad in the end, and not good for the game itself.
yeah, it's a matter of like, you simplify the system so that everybody can perform at the same level relatively easily, but you remove the individuality of the characters and of the players, really. Marvel Infinite, again, you have 2 characters, you have different gems, you got all this shit going on that I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. I think people, I'm hoping people will be able to pick the 2 characters that they think are cool and, like, make it work.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most appealing things about,
for me,
like,
whenever
Marvel.
I was going to say, whenever I pick up a Marvel game, like, even if I'm just, like, trying it on the Raspberry Pi I have, like, trying any of the arcade ones, I pick the characters I want, and it works out. And it was the same thing with picking characters in 3.
I think that's the one issue with having the 3 character system, is by having 2 characters, like, you know, the assist you use is obviously important during combos and whatnot. I don't really know how assists are going to work in this game, but with 2 characters, it's easier to just kind of pick 2 people who you really like. You don't have to work on, like, team synergy, because you're playing essentially 2 separate characters that you could learn those 2 characters separately, do combos with them, and succeed. Whereas Marvel 3, it is very much you are playing a 3-man team throughout that entire match. And, like, if you lose your anchor early because they punished your assist, then your team starts to sort of fall apart. You have to pick up the pieces. Or at least here it's like, oh, you lose your first character. It's like, all right, I lose Ultron, but I can still play Strider good. I just don't have, like, I can't tag Ultron in, like, mid-combo to do his combo section.
No, yeah, you're right. That's actually something I appreciate here.
So all you really take a hit in is, like, damage output, but you don't lose, like, setups. You don't lose, like, anything like that.
Yeah.
The other great thing is you lose one of your characters, you get 50% of your Power Stone, or your Infinity Stone meter, automatically. Which kind of, it's sort of a comeback factor, but, like, it's not as crazy as X Factor was with level 3, you know, X Factor.
Jeez, yeah.
One interesting thing I did see is, I forget where it is in this, but Hulk is getting comboed in the air, and he calls in Chris to break him out of the combo.
Oh, that, yeah.
So,
counter switch.
I think it costs 2 meters to do, which I think is fair.
Wasn't that
a game like this, having that ability is fucking strong.
Isn't that like, what is it? What happens in 3? With, like, when your opponent is about to switch a character in the air?
It very well may be that as well. It could be that, actually.
Did that cost meter in 3?
It did not cost meter, but you had to predict whether or not they were knocking you up, down, or to the side. And because this game probably doesn't have tag-outs like that, it probably is more like a standard combo breaker function. Because it has its own text, too. I forget what it said. It was something assist. Yeah. Chris comes in to break the combo for Hulk, but then Chris is tagged in as the active character. So, like, you're switching characters and you're getting out of the combo. So, and with the meter cost, yeah, it's probably a universal combo breaker. It's interesting we don't see it, like, we only see it once.
And with that, I think we're on to our final notes about this game. So far from what we've seen. From honestly, the trailers before and this press release.
I feel like I don't want to get overzealous in how I feel about it. I feel like I got that way with Street Fighter V, and obviously, we all know how I feel right now. I'm worried that there's already a character pass for the game. I expected it.
Oh,
I'm hoping,
yeah.
It's not that I didn't expect it. I'm hoping we see what other characters you get, so you know if buying the pass will be worth it.
I was gonna bring that up. Like, that's I feel like those other characters aren't being worked on entirely right now, because the first thing that's like decided with these games is roster size, but then they see what kind of deadline they have, and then they decide who to focus on and who to crunch into that time.
I don't mind buying a season pass right out of the gate for a game, because, you know, if you want to stay competitive, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm paying for. Like, that's the big thing. This is the big problem with the Season 2 character pass right now for Street Fighter V. It's like, they are all new characters I've never heard of. I don't even know what they look like. It's probably...
$30.
Well, $30. And that's kind of my big problem with that. So I hope closer to release, you can keep a surprise. Like, the last one, 2, because... I imagine it's going to be 3 Marvel, 3 Capcom. It'd be stupid if they did a different way.
Just looks like we have shitty.
You can save the last 2 as like a big surprise, but let us know what most of what we're getting is. But that being said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this gameplay trailer I want to talk about. I don't think there was. I'm going to hold off until I can play it. I'm going to reserve judgment. I think it looks like Marvel. Which is good. As long as it's not oversimplified, I think it'll still be a very fun game to like pop in and play. Competitively, how it's gonna do, I don't know. Players are gonna attach to it. I'm hoping they do, because I want to see high-level Ultron, because Ultron looks sick.
The most I've seen of the Marvel games, like, before I was friends with you guys, was like, it was like the casual fighting game to like play with friends. Like, on both, when I was playing on PS3 and on Xbox, it was like the casual game to play while in a party with friends.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, was just like play. It was mostly Marvel 2 at the time.
I love Marvel 2.
Yeah, but if feelings like that's great, and I think Marvel's always gonna do that, and I think this game's gonna do that too. Like, it's gonna be that nice casual game, you know, for people like me to enjoy. And I think there's a lot of potential. That's what we're really seeing, is potential. A lot of like smart decisions. I think they're smart decisions, but we got to see how they play out, because it looks smart now. What we thought was like smart with Street Fighter V, where it was like taking like KI's model, you know, that didn't work out, I don't think.
No.
So the potential's there, but we have to see where it goes.
And I think it speaks volumes to say that, like, you enjoyed Marvel 2 so casually, but that is a super complex game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't need to dumb down the game to appeal to casuals, because casual players are going to have fun with it anyway. And the thing about casual players is, when you dumb down a game to make it more accessible, the idea is that you get more people into playing competitively, but the people who you're catering to are the people who want to pop it in with, you know, 6 people in a house and just dick around for a bit.
Yeah.
And you don't need to make a simple game for that to happen, because as long as you can just do cool shit, like, right away,
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be a 300-hit combo. It just needs to be like, this is the button that does the super.
Because that was before the...
Swap the mode on and you're done.
That was before the fighting game renaissance, too. When we would just, like, play that. So, like, there seems like, you know, starting with Street Fighter V, there was more push towards the, you know, what we're talking about, like, the fundamentals only and the casualization, lowering the skill floor. Like, yeah, people were already playing those games beforehand.
And I think it's... all you have to do with Marvel, really, is just dial it back a little bit. And removing the third character and all the assist stuff is basically all you really need to do.
There's one more thing, though, and that's patching the game.
You also need to patch your game. So Marvel, don't retcon video games again, like, after this comes out. So, I know what we should probably end this on. And who else do you want added to the game? It could be Marvel side, Capcom side. What's your little wish list?
After, you know, from the MCU, I want to see like Doctor Strange. And I know he was in 3. I don't know really, like, I'm indifferent about him in 3. I don't know if they really changed anything of it they brought him in, but yeah, him. Any Mega Man characters, I'm down with. Roll, Tronbon, Proto Man, Vile, Sigma, which he's already there, so that's cool. Amaterasu.
Amaterasu coming back would be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a very interesting character. I don't really care too much about returning characters. I'd like to see Iron Fist come back. I think Iron Fist is a fun character to play in Marvel 3.
Yo, can we get Luke Cage, just straight up black guy in a t-shirt, Luke Cage?
Luke Cage. I would be down for Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I think Daredevil would be cool. I hope Spider-Man, you know, makes it back in just because it feels weird. Like, it already feels weird without Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Marvel side, of course, Moon Knight. I love fucking Moon Knight. The Punisher. He's in Daredevil, the Netflix series, so you could put him in. He's Chris's rival. Just make it that. But no, most of I primarily play Capcom side, so like I like Virgil. I'd like to see Virgil come
right.
back. I think he's bullshit, but he's fun.
An older design?
Older is yeah. If the Devil May Cry comes back, they will not use new Dante and new Virgil for sure. And then for me, it mostly comes down to like really obscure shit that I think finally deserves the spotlight. I'd like Hayato to come back from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I love Hayato. Jin would be cool to come back. Captain Commando. I totally forgot about Captain Commando until last night. I was playing Marvel 2 on a cab. Love Captain Commando. But in terms of like new characters, I'd like Jean from God Hand. I would like Falcon, I believe, from Power Stone. I'd like Batsu or Akira from Rival Schools. Any Rival Schools rep, really. Any of the main ones. And I think Ashura from Ashura's Wrath would be cool. Any of those kind of just hand-to-hand, like, heavy brawler types, I think would be really interesting to have. I think Monster Hunter guy would be... everyone seems really excited about that, and it's like...
Well, because, like...
The more I think about it, it's like, okay, so what? You have, like, stances for, like, different weapons? Like, you down is, like, a different weapon?
It's like, because I didn't, like... I wouldn't have thought of that if it wasn't for the Mii costumes in Smash. That made me think, like, how cool those designs are for the armor outside of Monster Hunter. I think that'd be so dope if it was... If like, they had a Monster Hunter rep in this game.
Yeah.
Or Stage. Oh, man.
Oh, and Akuma. I think Akuma.
Akuma's alright.
Again, it'd feel weird.
With as little characters as they're going for, I wouldn't expect more than one Shoto. Maybe
I will say
2 at most.
I'm kind of upset. Morgan has to be in because she is the Darkstalkers, like,
she's already
girl. Like, I get why she's in. I want John Talbane. I don't want Felicia again. I don't want Hishenko. I want John Talbane. I want anybody else. Anyone else.
No, yeah, see, I don't know. I know, like, there's so many people that want, like, characters, but I'm what I want. I'll accept whatever is given. I'm not gonna be like harsh on the roster.
Strider was a huge, like, if Strider wasn't in the game, no buy. And Strider's in the game. So, like, I will find somebody else to play with Strider. It might end up being Ultron, because Ultron looks sick.
That'd be a hell of a team.
Yeah, that's it. Really, Akira from Rival Schools, I'd say would be my #1 pick.
Yeah.
I think she would be awesome. That's still my favorite fighting game character ever. But that's, I think that's it. I think we've dissected it about as much as we can.
Let us know in the comments what characters you guys are feeling, because I know there's a lot of people, like, think of even more obscure shit that they'd love to see. And from From trends of recently, I think anything's possible. I don't think as of like, unless
it's an X-Men, then it's not
unless
possible.
legally otherwise, like since Smash, a little before that, literally anything can happen. You can't count anything out.
Sigma is a main villain. Like, that's crazy to me.
Or like there's another EX game. Those guys are working on another game.
Thank God it's their own game.
Yeah. So like, miracles can happen. Who do you want? Let us know.
Come true. Do you want Goku in Marvel Infinite? Let us know in the chat. Let us know what's going on.
I believe that's all we got to say now. So,
yep.
Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you thought of this format as well. If we should do more hit confirms like this, or do it while playing the game and have more like reactions to what we're doing in there.
Yeah. Do you want us to play the fighting games good and talk good, or do you want it to feel more like you're sitting on the couch with us playing?
And watching us play mediocre.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you all next time. Oh my god! Damn it!
Yes!